Dachaha, Wosha Michael Larson, Wosha Neiman Depungyu. Hello, everybody. This is Mike Larson for BBC IML, and this is a moment with Mike. So I'm here on my morning hike next to Long Lake. It's kind of a swampy area right here, but Long Lake in the background over there with two dogs, and it's been raining all morning here. A little bit of a break in the rain, so I decided to go for my hike. But I wanted to talk about today a message I put out on Facebook a few days ago that said, what's the best quote you've ever had in your life? And like every one that I put out there, there's been so many good ones. But the one that sticks in mind for me was one that Candace Nelson put out. It was a guy we called Gramps. He was Jack, and he had a quote. I can't even say it on here what the actual quote was, but it had to do with you'll put up with a lot of stuff if you have the dough. And he had his own unique way of saying, if you want to see it, read the message on Facebook. But Gramps was an incredible guy. He touched a lot of lives, and he was rough on the edges. He had no political correctness whatsoever. He would say anything, anytime to anybody, but everybody loved him. And matter of fact, it was in the car business, and it's a story I tell in my program, Ambition Initiator. But he was in the car business, so was I, so was Candace, and a lot of my friends were. A lot of the people we still talk with, Eric DeLacy, Chip Richards, Ron Johnson, there's a lot of them out there. But we all remember Gramps, and he died a couple years ago. But man, a funeral, I bet there was 500 people, if not more there. And he just touched so many lives. But he had all these great comments, and he had a great outlook on life. He never let anything get him down. But I was a pretty good salesperson at the time when I met him. But he gave me a lesson that I'll never forget. So I was probably a 20 or 30% closer, maybe a little bit above average as far as salespeople go, but not, now I look back at it, not great. But Jack was about a 90% closer. I mean, he was just crazy good. So I sat down one day and I wanted to watch what he was doing so I could learn from him. And he got people in front of him, and he went through the whole process, and he got him interested in the car, and he came in and he was going to close on the car. So I was watching the whole process. He said I could watch. And he gets to the end, and he gets to his close, and he says, okay, so you got to understand, Jack was like 5 foot tall, maybe 140 pounds. He just wasn't a very big guy, but his personality was huge, just a huge personality. And like I said, everybody loved him. But he sat him down in front of him, and he said, and he got the paper, and he filled everything out, chit-chatted for a little bit. He turned the paper around to him, and he says, okay, so now I'm either going to punch you in the nose or you're going to sign this. And they laughed, and they signed it. And I thought, I'm never going to be able to use that close. Here I am, 6'2", 230 pounds at the time. And if I told somebody that, they might believe me. And then later, in the hearing business, another person in my life, Gina Wisner, she was a good salesperson for me with Miracle Ear. And I taught her how to sell hearing aids and how to service hearing aids. And she's moved on to other things now, has a family. But she used that close, and she could get away with it because she was a woman, and she built great rapport with people. But it was a story I'll never forget. And like I said, Jack changed all of our lives back then. He had all these great quotes, and Candace, I think, has got a book of those quotes, and she shared with him one of them on there. But we'd go golfing with him every day, and he'd always every time we go golfing, he'd do the cockroach flop, we'd call it. He'd lay on his back and kick like a cockroach. So, but I just remember and it's funny how the things like that or people like that touch our lives and make our lives better. So that was just my little take on that. I hope this finds you well. I hope you have a super fantastic day. And look for more. If you like this message, look for more like this. And as I always say, every evening at 7 o'clock, I go Facebook Live. I'll have a subject then to talk about. If you have something you'd like me to talk about, just email me at mike@inspiredmotivatedleadership.com, or you can text me on Messenger. I'd be happy to share, and have a super fantastic day.